Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll teach you how to create business names. You can use this one to submit names to Squadhelp, or you can even use this one to create your own business or brand. But before that, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell for you to be updated with my next videos. My next video is about how to earn money selling domain names, so watch out for that. In my previous video, I introduced you to Squadhelp. It's a naming platform where you can earn money online. So if you haven't seen the video, guys, check that out in the link below. So if you think that it's hard to create business names or it's hard to generate or brainstorm business name ideas, well, I completely agree with you. But today, I'll teach you my secret art of naming. I'll teach you a skill on how to create business names. So if you're ready, let's dive into our topic. Before I'll teach you the how in creating business names, it is essential that you know what are the different types of brand names. Knowing this will help guide you in what kind of names you can actually create. So today, I'll introduce you to 8 different types of brand names. The first one are real words. So any word in the dictionary can be made into a brand. Did you know that a real word is very valuable? A domain name that's actually a real word is sold or for sale at a very high price, and we'll talk about that one in my next video. But some of the biggest companies right now using a real word for brand names are Apple, and we have Alphabet, and we have Twitter. So these are just some of the companies right now using a real word as their brand names. So the second type of a business name are compound words. So a compound word is a new word created from 2 or more different words. So did you know that there are a lot of companies right now using a compound word for their brands? We have face and book, we have Facebook, we have something that you're watching right now, YouTube, we have Salesforce, we have Snapchat, we have WordPress, and we have Firefox. So these are just examples of companies using compound word for their brands. So the third type of business names are what we call blends or portmanteau. So a blend is a new word created from parts of 2 or more words. So some of the biggest brands today which are actually blends are Microsoft from microcomputer and software. We have Instagram from instant camera and Telegram. We have Skype from Sky and peer-to-peer. We have Wikipedia from Wiki and Encyclopedia. And lastly, we have Mozilla from Mosaic and Godzilla. So how cool is that, right? There are a lot of companies right now which names are actually blends. The fourth type of brand names are what I call invented or made up. There are actually a lot of companies right now which are using invented words for their brand names. Some are misspellings of the real word, but some are totally made up. So a good example of this is Google. So Google is a misspelling of the word Google, which means the number 1 with 100 zeros. Another example is Kodak, and we also have Mibo. So these are just examples of the many companies right now which are actually using invented words for their brand names. The fifth type of brand names are what I call those from phrases. So you can actually create a business name or a brand name based from short phrases. So a good example of this one is LinkedIn. It's a compound word, but still it's a phrase. So another example is stumble upon. And another one which is based on a phrase, even though it's an invented word, is Reddit. It means read it or I read it online. So these are the kind of names you can create based upon short phrases. The sixth type of business names are what I call those which are based on the founder's name. So it could either be the complete name of the founder or the last name of the founder or the last name of the founder plus another word. So those are brand names based upon the founder's name. So a good example of this one is Walmart. So it's presumed to be Walton plus Market. Walton is the founder. We also have Dell, we have Ford, we have Honda, we have Kellogg's. So those are samples of brand names which are actually based upon the founder's name. So the seventh type of business names are those which are geographical names, or brand names or business names based upon geographical locations. So airline companies usually have this kind of names. So another example of this one is Amazon. Even though Amazon is a real word, but it's actually a reference to Amazon River, which is one of the longest river in the world. And another one is American Express. So these are examples of names based upon geographical locations. So you can also create names like this based upon where the business originated or where the business started. So the last type of business name that I'll share to you guys are those which are acronyms. So those are brand names based upon the initials or the first letters of the company name. So a good example is IBM for International Business Machine. We have KFC for Kentucky Fried Chicken. And did you know that Yahoo is actually an acronym? Yes, it means yet another hierarchical officious oracle. So I'd rather have Yahoo for the company name, right? So these are the different types of business names that you can use as a guide on what types of names or what kinds of names you can create for the different businesses. So before we'll go on to the naming process, let's talk about the qualities of a good brand name. The first one is memorable. The name must be something that sticks to our minds. So when you hear it, you can easily forget it. In short, it's easy to remember. The next one is the name must be short. This is in terms of the number of characters and the number of syllables. The shorter the number of characters, the shorter the number of syllables, the better for a brand name. The third one is the story or a feeling or a meaning behind the name. So a name which conveys a story or a feeling or a meaning behind it appeals to many. These are usually written in the about page of a website, or there are articles written of how the brand name came to be. The next one is be unique. So don't create brand names which are similar to existing brands, especially if in the same industry. For example, you want to create a social networking site and you will name it Facebook or Facebook. It's just silly, right? So create unique names. That is the reason why I like blends or invented words, because I can actually create a lot of unique names from there. The last one is easy to say and spell. So companies want people to easily spell the name when they hear someone say it. So if it is easy to say and spell, and if it is short, then it becomes even more memorable. So these are the qualities of a good brand name. So remember these qualities when you are brainstorming or generating business names. These are some more things to consider when creating business names. The first one is the domain.com extension is available to register and you're legally free to use the name, meaning there's no trademark for that name. So when I say .com is available to register, when you go to icon lookup and search for that name, no one should have registered it, and so you're free to register the .com extension of that name. So why in .com, even though there are other extensions like .io, .net, .org, and among others? Because .com is the king of all extensions. People usually think that the website is in .com, and so I recommend you use .com for your domain. The next one would be check the name if it doesn't imply any negative meaning in other languages. So check that one on the internet, especially if you're going to be doing some business in those countries. The last one is actually an interesting trivia that I find something that's unique, guys. So what do you think is common to these brand names? Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Apple, Dell, Twitter, Reddit, Zoom, Yammer, Meebo. So these names have double letters in their brands. So for Facebook, Yahoo, and Google, they have double letter O. And for some others with double letters in their own names. So you might want to create brand names which has these double letters. So it's just an interesting trivia for brand names, guys, that I really like. So I hope that these tips will help you in creating a good business name. So now here we are. How do we actually create, generate, or brainstorm business names? So this is now the art of naming, guys. This is actually a process that you can follow to create brand names. This is easy, guys. So let's go. So the first step is to decide what type of name you love to have or what type of name the company is looking for. Whether it's a real word, it's a compound word, it's a blend, or it's an invented word. So that's the first step in this process. The second step is to find and list down your base words. So there are several ways to get the base words, guys. First is you or the company or the person who wants the business name will always have some words in mind. List them down. Second is the name of the founder or the place where the business originated. And fourth, find related words in the niche or industry where the business belongs. For example, if in health, we have wellness, we have fitness, we have strength. So list all of the base words that you can find or you can think of. The third step is to expand your base words. So find synonyms or related words of your existing base words. Go to websites like powerthesaurus.org and find synonyms of existing base words that you have and expand your list of base words. So for the fourth step is to find and research nice prefixes and list them down. So for this video, we'll use pro, hyper, co, omni, uni, mega, re, and neo. And later, we'll use these prefixes in creating business names. So these are just examples of prefixes you can get. You can research on that one on the internet and list them down. So the next step is to find and research suffixes that you can use and list them down. So similar to what you did in the previous step. So in this video, we'll use these suffixes and create business names later in this video. The next step is to find one-syllable meaningful words, because we'll use these words to pair with our base words to create compound or blend words. So for this video, we'll use these words in creating business names later. The next step is to find and list down nice and short adjectives, which we will use to describe our base words. So for this video, we'll use these adjectives in creating business names later. The next step is to invent words by adding one syllables to your base words. So later, we'll use these syllables in creating business names. The next step is to break down the syllables of your base words, because we'll use them to blend with our suffixes, prefixes, and nice short words. For example, we have finance, we have fi and finan. We'll blend them with our suffixes, nice short words, or some random syllables to invent new words. So now let me show you how to create business names using the steps that I presented to you. So we'll use finance as our base word. So now let me share my screen. So you should be able to list some base words here, but for this video, we'll just use finance and we'll use these prefixes also, but you should be able to add more to this. For our list of suffixes, this is just a small part of the many suffixes that you can use. And then for short meaningful words, you can also add a list for this one. Short adjectives will have this, and then you can add one syllable adjectives also. For random syllables, there should be a lot of this that you can create, so we'll just use this for our example. And for the first way of creating a name is to have prefixes plus the base word. So for example, we have pro finance, hyper finance, and all these 8 names. And the second way is to have a base word plus the suffixes. So we have finance plus asi, and then you can blend those. So for example, we'll use fina plus si. So you can actually create a new name. So we can see here financement, and we have financeship. So another way is to have the short words plus the base word. For example, spark finance, edge finance. So you can even blend this one into another word also, like what we did with the suffix. So for the other way around, we can have base word plus short words. So the same short words like finance spark, and then we can blend those to create like finspark or finacrist or finazen, finbase. So we can create new words. So another way is to have short adjectives plus the base word. For example, best finance. So this is just straightforward. you can actually also blend these words into a new name. And then we can also have base word plus random syllables. So for example, finansta, finansto, you can turn them into finanta and finato. So for the other way of creating names is misspellings. For example, changing a letter in the name. So for example, from finance with C, we'll change C to S, and then we'll change F to Z. Zinans or Zinans. This is actually a really great name. So you can add a letter, you can change some letters, you can misspell the base word to create a new name. So I hope this helps you have an overview of how to apply the steps that I mentioned earlier. So that's more than 50 names, guys, with just one base word. So imagine what you can do with the other base words that you have. So just repeat the process and follow the exact same steps to be able to create more business names. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that you have learned something on how to create brand names. So if you think this video is helpful to you, please don't forget to like and help the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to others. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now and click that notification bell for you to be updated with my next videos. So until my next video, guys, see you.